Crue Life. We're back with episode 3. This is Rob on the mic.
This is Rick in the corner. Hey, we're going to take care of you today, give you a lot of information, have some fun.
And the mayor in the house. We will see you on the backside.
All right, guys, we are going to talk a lot about the Buccaneers today. It's not going to jump around to all sports. It's going to be all about the Bucs, 100%. So if you're Bucs driven and you're a diehard like us, you're at the right place and you're listening to the right show. It's Crue Life, baby, for life. Here we go. We're going to start off today, talk about some Bucs news.
What do you think about the defense now with some of these moves that we've made?
I think Jason Light and the Bucs organization is doing a really good job. They really believe in the Tom Brady hype, so to speak. And I think they're going to try to do something to help this guy and help the organization to win, which I'm very excited about.
It's funny. The other day, I'm talking to Rob, and one thing that Rob said, and we haven't seen any rumors or anything. Rob's like, "What about Le'Veon Bell? Imagine if we could get, the Jets have kind of a nasty taste in their mouths with him right now."
Imagine that, Rob. What do you think about Le'Veon? I would love to land Le'Veon Bell.
Could you imagine? You see Tom Brady in the backfield waiting for the ball, and then looks behind him, and you got Mr. Bell back there. I'll tell you what. And then you look to the sides, and you look at the receivers and tight ends. I think Brady would see something more, I hate to say it, sexier than his wife. Mm-hmm. But that offense, I think it's just going to be just one of those things he's lived for forever.
Maybe that offense, what Rob is describing, is something that may have attracted Tom Brady to the Buccaneers. I asked that question last week. Why did Tom Brady choose the Buccaneers?
Brady, it's funny. I watched a lot of video on Tom Brady over the past, call it, 2 days. I mean, the man is ice cold. I mean, he is ice cold in his veins. He'll have a guy like Ndamukong Suh grab him by the back of the neck, and he is still spot on to a receiver. The poise that he has is amazing. It's just amazing to me. Great press conference. Rob, what did you think about everything that Tom had to say about Tampa, about coming to the Bucs? It's awesome conference.
The one thing I noticed, the biggest thing I noticed is the media. The media tried to get him to talk about New England in a negative way. And he didn't say much in a negative way, but it's what he didn't say in a positive way that makes me feel it was kind of a negative breakup.
Well, here's what I thought listening to the press conference. I love the fact that Tom Brady took my motto about the NFL, it's not for long. And by that, what I mean when Tom Brady said, no one cares what happened in the past. It's about what's going to happen in the future. I love that, what he said about that.
Everything that he said along those lines, he's uplifting. He wasn't degrading to anybody in New England. But each time that you heard him get a question, he always tried to turn it to the Bucs and, hey, we're positive. Listen, this is a new experience. Everybody here, we're going to have a great time. And he's positive. He's positive about the whole team, everything.
You could tell Tom Brady is an experienced player. You could just tell, just by his handling of the media. And the media tries to trip him up and try to get that sensationalism, and he don't fall for it.
No.
So I love that about him.
Absolutely. So other news. Oh, man, it kills me that we lost Carl Nassib.
Yes.
Kills me, right? I mean, I really like the guy. He had heart. He had hustle. Another big loss, I still think. Now, this is going to be contention for everybody. Perriman. Now, my thought on Perriman was last year I thought he was garbage. This year, at the beginning of the season, he had a few drops. But I thought he did exceedingly well at the end of the season. He got paid $8 million by the Jets.
Well, what he got was $6 million guaranteed, extra $2 million in incentives. So if you look at what he made last year, he got $1 million raise because he made $5 million last year. So $1 million more to go to New York. And with incentives, he gets another $2 million. He basically was signed right after they got rid of their other receiver. He went to Carolina. So what they did is replaced one fast receiver with another. You just hope that it didn't go to his head once he gets paid, because everywhere he's been, he really hasn't done well until last year. And that's when he was comfortable with Mr. Jameis Winston. So at the end, that's basically, there was no other receivers. We didn't have Evans. We didn't have Godwin. He was the only option.
I couldn't agree with you more, Rob, as it relates to Perriman. Perriman, in my opinion, in the beginning was garbage because he dropped a lot of balls that I thought he could have caught. But in the end, I was up in Detroit and watched him, and he ran great routes.
He showed out.
Caught the ball. He showed up, and he showed out.
Yeah. He basically did stuff that, like you guys were saying towards the beginning of the year, it looked like he was dogging it. Like he was not wanting to be here, like he was a malcontent. But as the season went on, I think it got to the trade deadline. Everybody's like, trade him, trade him, trade him. And everybody's like, why would somebody want him? And
I was one of those people.
They're like, get the 4th round pick. If you trade him or release him, you get a 4th round pick next year.
So now there's a couple other ones. Bo Allen's gone. That's another one that we're not talking starter, but we're talking about a great backup.
Great backup.
Somebody that was really helpful for the Bucs.
I'm going to say one thing is that we have a guy that gives us a lot. I shouldn't say rumors. Usually he gives us facts, and that's Mr. Ebor Buccaneer. And he's on Facebook, and I'll tell you what, when it came to Tom Brady signing, he was the one that broke it. He broke the news saying it's a done deal. I got a text from him. He's saying it was a done deal. I posted it on Crue Life, asked him to put it on Crue Life, and then people were like, no, you don't know what you're talking about.
I remember that, Rob. I rember that. Shout out to Ebor.
He has actually been right, 3 times now with us? And I'm just saying with us, that he sent us, hey, this is happening, and we're kind of going, okay, well, we'll put it out on Crue Life, and it comes true.
It comes true. I'll tell you what, he's not looking to put news out to get clicks. Right. He only puts news out when he has facts. And I'll tell you what, he broke yesterday's news too, which was Sue. Before it was announced, yes. He broke that news as well. And we are lucky enough, if you're not on Crue Life on the Facebook side, you need to get over there and become a member, because instead of getting all these little gossip sites telling you what might happen, what could happen, he tells you what's going to happen, and he does it on Crue Life.
Yes, he does. And I just want to say shout out to Ebor Buck because of that, and thank you for being a member of Crue Life.
Yeah, it's just one of those guys that, I'm telling you right now, Rick and Klevin, he's going to be here. We're going to get him in for an episode or a call in. We definitely want him on the show.
I hope so.
Awesome. We'll have a great time with it. Listen, we're proud. We're great. We're happy to have everybody here on Crue Life with us. We'll be back after these messages.
This episode brought to you by ApexGiftCard.com. At ApexGiftCard.com, you'll find all your favorite restaurants and stores, discounts anywhere from 15 to 52% off some of your favorite coffee shops. So go there now and get all your favorite brands at great discount prices. Stores change daily. ApexGiftCard.com.
Hey Buck Nation, it's your boy Grish here, host of the Cush Couch Chronicles, back to do a little weekly segment for my buddies over at Crue Life and their wonderful podcast. This week I wanted to touch base on our all-world GM, Mr. Jason Light. That's correct, I know it's going to shock some of you guys to hear those words leave my mouth. I know I've thrown my fair share of shade and trolling towards that gentleman in the past, but no more. I wanted to make sure all the accolades and praises are directed at the right party, and that is Mr. Light. Some of those reasons being, when we tagged our franchise tag on Shaq Barrett this offseason, we had a choice of tagging him as an outside linebacker or a D-end. He definitely earned the money regardless. The D-end franchise tag being $3.5 million more than the outside linebacker tag. So obviously Jason, being the savvy contract man he is, goes in there and tags him as an outside linebacker, baking $3.5 million towards our cap, towards another player's salary. Then he brings in Tom Brady, a guy that could easily get 35 or at least $30 million in the open market. He signs him for $25 million, $7 million extra in performance accelerators or guarantees if you meet certain benchmarks for stats. But nonetheless, that's 7 plus Shaq's 3.5. That's $10.5 million that we now have to spend towards other players that should have technically already been spent on the 2 we have. So hats off to Mr. Light in that department. Great job. Also wanted to give him kudos as well for getting Tom here in the first place. I've seen a lot of praises for Bruce, which he is to, thank as well. But I wanted to make sure a lot of people understand and appreciate what Mr. Light did. He was the head scout for the New England Patriots back in 2000, so 20 years ago. And at that point in time, he was working very closely with a gentleman named Dick Rabine, who was the quarterbacks coach of the Patriots at that point in time. The two of them were the ones that were, as I said, the most integral in selling Patriot ownership and Bill Belichick on drafting Brady in the 6th round. They had Tim Rattay in mind. What a colossal bust that would have been if they would have chosen the latter of the two. Anyway, Brady has said that he remembered that and has kept that in his mind and, kept a great relationship over the years with Mr. Light, and that's kind of why he came here. So I want to give him hats off in that department as well, to make sure you guys all understand that due to our GM, we now have Tom Brady as our quarterback and another $10.5 million we shouldn't have had to spend on other players, namely being an Ndamukong Suh. Hopefully we bring back, as you guys saw, Perryman got signed. The wide receiver class in this draft is so deep, so is defensive tackle, that I think that's why there was a pause on bringing some of those guys back. Plus, let's not sleep on Scotty Miller and Justin Watson ascending a depth chart. Scotty's not built to play the slot for an entire season. He's too small. He can't take hits like that, and he offers a limited route tree. But as a whole, Mr. Watson's career needle is pointing directly north. I still think we add a receiver in the draft, obviously for depth and to compete for a roster spot. But all in all, nothing but the future, and Buccaneer world is bright. I want y'all to keep safe out there. Be kind, be courteous, be a Buccaneer in your community, love your loved ones, help somebody out if you can, and everybody stay safe, okay? Go Bucs, fire them cannons.
So much love from my boy Grish at the Cush Couch Chronicles, straight out of Denver. Listen, folks, Crue Life, we cannot wait to get our butts out and party with the Grish and his Cush Couch Chronicles in Denver this fall when the Buccaneers take on the Broncos.
What he said was spot on. The Shaq and the Brady signings and savings, that's absolutely true. I'll be the first one, I'm raising my hand, to say, man, I have dogged Jason Light more times than I've dogged anybody else ever for the Bucs. There have been guys for 4 years now calling for his head. You kind of got to admit, he pulled off some magic with this, and maybe he deserves a few props. What do you guys think?
I really feel as if he learned a lot from all the mistakes that have happened. And you got to look, the first part of his career here in Tampa, the guy that was in charge was not him. It was Mr. Lovie Smith. Lovie Smith made all the decisions. Lovie left, he kind of took over from that point on. But I still think things were kind of controlled behind the scenes a little bit by the Glazers. Like, we want this, we want that. We always heard Jameis Winston. That was a pick that was dictated more by the ownership than it was anybody else.
And I'd like to say amen to what you just said, Rob, and amen to my buddy Grish for what he said. Both of you guys and all of you guys have sprinkled so much knowledge upon Crue Life in Crewville here.
The mayor of Crewville. We look at the whole thing with Jason Light. The one thing that he goes into when he was talking just now about all the money he saved, that came in and really, if you look what he saved, we're still $2 million under by even getting Suh.
Well, that's the great thing. We got Suh basically for free because of Jason Light and what he did. I mean, the numbers work out to almost be identical to what our savings were with Brady and with Shaq, and transferring what we saved there over to making sure that we signed Suh. I think that was a huge thing for our defense. I don't think Suh is the greatest guy for the position for us, But he's the right guy because he has the continuity with everybody else. They've been playing with each other for a year. I think Light has done an incredible job in what we can see today.
The most brilliant move was tagging Shaq.
Yeah, and when we were talking about Nassib a little bit ago about him letting him go, letting him ride, he got paid pretty good money. And do you think that maybe his stats and the way he played was a little bit generated, a little bit more than it was supposed to be because he played with Shaq Barrett and JPP? I mean, the pressure wasn't on him, and they signed him for the Raiders to be a rotational player, not a starter, but they gave him more money or equal money, I think, to what Sue got. So, I mean, that to me is, I think we did the right thing, and we got Mr. Nelson coming back, our 4th-round pick last year that was looking out and showing out that they were trying to find playing time for. He's back from injury this year.
From Jason Light also, I hate to say this one more time, guys, but I keep hearing some more rumors about Antonio Brown. I hate to throw that. Would Jason Light in his wildest dreams entertain it still?
If you look at it, you had Perriman. Perriman just got paid, right? Rob, what's the guy from New York that just got paid to go to?
Oh yeah, go to the Carolina.
Yes, he went to Carolina. Robbie Anderson got 2 years, $20 million. 2 years, $20 million.
Yeah, now we got to cover that guy.
Okay, so now you got Mr. Brown sitting out there. I want to come to Tampa Bay. Now, we talked about this on the first podcast. We talked about it on the second one. I'm still to the point of, if we could get him at a league minimum contract with incentives, what I mean incentive is playing time, performance, and not being a knucklehead, because if he's a knucklehead, he ain't going to be here, so there's no guarantees. I say why not? Because if he comes in and balls out for number 3, he could parlay it into another contract somewhere else and get paid.
Amen.
You can't deny the talent. You cannot deny the talent here with Antonio Brown. But I'm going to stick with what I said the first 2 podcasts, which is Antonio Brown ain't coming here, folks. It's wishful thinking.
So you always say that, I'm going to do this a little analogy. You ever go to a used car lot and you see that used car, it's nice and shiny.
And I've dealt with used car salesmen.
And they're the buy here, pay here. It's all shiny, pretty, looking great. And you're like, how's this car here? Oh my gosh, what a steal. Then you get it home and you're like, man, a couple weeks later, it's putting around. They've got some oil leaks. And the next thing you know, you're stuck with a broke down old car.
It's a lemon.
Just as a stupid story, when I was 18, I bought a Dodge Daytona. This was back in the early 90s. Bought the car. It was the same deal. It's a $3,000 car, but I get, oh my God, it was so great. Then I went to vacuum the seats, and mud started coming up out of it. You put water in your shed, and mud, the whole car been underwater, and they never told me.
Oh my God.
Gotta love that as a college student. Running on here, keys to success with our offensive line. We've been round and round on the offensive line. We're going to kind of break down some of these guys here for you. Right now our line is broken out as the left tackle, Donovan Smith. Left guard is Ali Marpet. The center, Ryan Jensen. Right guard is Alex Capra. And that right now our right tackle is DeMar Dotson, but he is a free agent. I'm going to say a little something about DeMar Dotson. More than likely, I think he's going to walk. He's going to be gone. Given his walk, we don't need you. That's still going to be our number 1 pick. DeMar Dotson led the line in the offensive penalties.
10 of them.
10 of them. I just don't feel like he's the right fit right now. I think that Brady probably said, okay, you guys do have a great line. I want a new right tackle. I've got to have somebody who's going to protect my blind side. So, as we're starting here, the DeMar Dotson, what do you guys think about him?
DeMar Dotson needs to be replaced. By his own admission on a podcast I listened to, the Pewter Reports podcast, throwing some love out there. He was on there and he goes, we could have done better for Jameis blocking, but also I like pass blocking. I don't like run blocking. And I don't think he didn't like it. I think it's more he couldn't do it anymore. He had physical, ailments. I mean, he's been in the league longer than any player on our team as far as experience.
7 years.
No, 7 years as a starter. He's been on
Yeah.
the team longer than that. He's been here.
It was like 11.
I think he's been here
11,
for
12.
5 coaches.
He's been here. Let me just chime in on DeMar Dotson. I actually wanted to talk about the offensive line in general, but since you mentioned DeMar Dotson, I think, in my opinion, DeMar Dotson is the weakest link. Obviously, I think he is not a reliable pass protector. He leads and Rick, you said that he led the team with 10 penalties, 5 false starts, 5 drive-killing holding calls. Okay, and I specifically remember one of those holdings was in the San Francisco game. By the way, we lost. There was a touchdown called back.
Yes, there was.
Because DeMar Dotson was holding. So hopefully the Bucs will be looking to replace DeMar. And this is I love people and I wish him the best, but I hope the Bucs look to replace them. And just to give people an idea who I think should be replaced, there's a guy out there playing with the Tennessee Titans who may be available. His name's Jack Conklin. He's a right tackle with Tennessee. He's big. I think that could be an option. Or if this guy falls to us, and I said this in the last couple podcasts, the Bucs absolutely have to address the offensive line. And this Iowa's Tristan Wirfs, W-I-R-F, he may fall to us. He may, but may not. So that's what I think about DeMar Dotson. And now I'll tell you, and not to take over and give me a couple seconds here, the offensive line from a fan's, and I put myself in that category as a fan, from a fan's point of view, it has been the perpetual problem in Tampa Bay. The cohesion, the quality. I tell you, with this line from last year, 2019, I don't know if you guys know this, but it was the 3rd highest paid line in the league.
Yes, we.
The 3rd highest paid in 2019. But you know what? They didn't play like it.
No.
I'm going to say you just gave that stat about the money. You know who the number 1 offensive line guy that's getting paid the most on that offensive line? Do you know, Rick?
No, but I would bet Jensen. But
It's Mr. Jensen.
yeah,
He's the enforcer. And you know what he was rated this year by Pro Football?
tops.
He was
Yeah.
number 1.
I was going to say, Jensen, when we got to him,
Yeah.
he did an excellent job. He's probably the best offensive lineman that we have.
But he's also aggressive, nasty. He's one of those guys that he's a hit him in the mouth just like the 1990s.
I'm going to say, I'm going to give this little thing out, shout out to all those wrestling guys out there that loved wrestling back in the day. Remember the 4 Horsemen?
Oh yeah,
The 4 Horsemen, you had Ric Flair. He would get out there and talk the trash. And then guess who was called the enforcer? That was Arn Anderson. Okay, he's the Arn Anderson of the offensive line. So then you look around that offensive line and you see Donovan Smith. Donovan Smith, I'll tell you, that guy gets a lot of hate from the fans. Some of it's very well deserved. Sometimes it looks like he's very lazy. He doesn't play consistent.
If I've got one problem with Donovan Smith, it's his inside moves, allowing defenders to move to his inside. You watch, and I watched a little bit of film before I actually went to this, and that was one of the big complaints and one of the things that you see. His inside moves are pretty bad. So
And Rick, you've nailed it. You absolutely nailed it about the inside moves. He's prone to losing it. And he has pass protection issues. But he's getting paid 3 years, $41 million.
whoo,
$41 million over 3 years. And you know what? He's average at best.
But do you think that maybe he's average because all of those guys had to try to make up for the weakest link?
Yeah.
I mean, when you have one person that doesn't hold up, and when I say one, it's not really one. I would say in an offensive line, the blocking scheme is based off of, your offensive line, your tight ends, and your running back. Okay, if you look, you look at our, at our line right now. You look at the free agents. One person on the first 2 podcasts I keep mentioning is Trent Williams. Trent Williams yesterday had his, I would say, agent. He called the team and put a press release. Said, "I want to be released. Please quit playing games with me. I don't want to be here. And for the best interest of the football team and for myself, it's time to move on. So quit playing games." So that means either he's going to get released, or the team's going to trade him for a very, I wouldn't say a high pick. It's going to be a low pick. He hasn't played football in a year. Would he be a good option to bring in as a left tackle and move Smith to the right side?
Oh, that's a tough move, dude. Taking Donovan Smith, moving him to the right side, and if we could get him that cheap, then we're bringing depth in, and that would be
Absolutely.
great. And the depth is what we need.
And
is he with the Redskins?
He's with the Redskins, and he's been a great left tackle, all pro. And then you got another guy out there he's a little long in the tooth, and that's Mr. Peters, played for the Eagles. He's a free agent, and he's 38 years old. 38, but he played 90% of the snaps last year for the Eagles as a left tackle. So do you bring him in as a experienced guy and plug him in the right side and let Donovan Smith play left side still?
No, we are going to draft a right tackle. That's the most clear option. It is. It's the most clear option.
You mean a left tackle for Donovan Smith or a right tackle?
I think we're going. I think we would be going right tackle for DeMar Dotson going.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's if I'm Tom Brady, that's the one that weakest link. You take him out, and if Tom Brady's saying, "You get me Wills from Alabama, the guy from Louisville, there's a ton of guys that we can get." That would be his number one guy because he's protecting his ass.
Yeah, I think we should do a friendly wager between the 3 of us. Okay, I'm going to bet a bottle of Red Stag, which is our favorite drink.
I drink Gentleman Jack.
Gentleman's
guys.
Jack. Okay, well, let's make a bet. My bet would be that our coach, there's no chance in hell he's going to draft an offensive lineman. Because he's already been on everything for the last 2 years saying offensive linemen coming out of college need 2 years of experience, meaning in most cases the coach won't be there to see when the actual player is actually doing well. He's been on the record, multiple shows, talking about that. Now, if you're talking about second or third round, you're right. If you're talking about first round, I'm betting that bottle against you guys.
I'll take the bet, and I will. And Rick, before
but you just like to bet.
You're right. I am a gambler. I am a poker player.
Exactly. If there's a place that we need to bet something, I do believe the mayor is going to be the first one there.
You got that right. And let me just respond to you, Rick. And I want to talk again. I want to circle back to this Donovan Smith and his eventual replacement, or he moves back and forth. Listen. We forget we have depth at this left tackle position. A guy's name is Josh Wells. Y'all remember him?
He filled in for Donovan when Donovan had that Achilles.
You got it. He played well behind him, and he did okay versus Detroit due to the injury. And I'm going to wrap this up, but I want to say he was hurt in Week 14, but, again, he got killed against the Panthers and the Saints earlier in the year. But in the end, he did well filling in for Donovan. So that may be an option where we fill, where he comes up and fills in.
Perfect. Great. I watched Josh Wells, and I really didn't like him. But who knows if he's the starting man? You
don't know.
I still think
next man up.
They're going to draft one. One other question for both of you guys. Our producer decided to give me a question. I think it's a really good question, guys. What do you think about now? Carolina, Atlanta, and New Orleans. What do they look like to you now? I mean, now we're going against Robbie Anderson now. And nobody's going to be throwing in the ball. Carolina
and Bridgewater.
You're the biggest one against Bridgewater.
I think Bridgewater is a system quarterback that will do well with a running game. What do they got in Carolina? They got one of the best running games there is, and he catches the ball out of the backfield. The problem I see is they're tight end. They let him go. Their best one, Olsen's gone. You look at the quarterback, he's new, but where did he go to college and who was his coach?
Yeah, Rob, I tend to agree with you on that, but at the same time, you could ask Carolina fans, the Saints fans, and Atlanta fans. They'll say the same crap about us. Tom Brady is a systems quarterback, and he's been in a system for how many years? And he was successful. Yes, he's the greatest of all time, but it remains to be seen what he's going to do here in Tampa Bay in this system.
Well, what's interesting is we're going to be watching the guy that was behind door number 2.
Yeah, true. Now, what do you guys think about Atlanta? I mean, Matt Ryan's getting old.
That's what they say about Tom Brady.
They let go of Freeman.
Yeah, they got Gurley.
Why can't we get Freeman?
Julio Jones, just in my opinion, I think he lost a step this year, maybe a half a step. Might not have been much, but he sure didn't look like the guy against us that's been here for years.
And their number one guy that moved the offense last year wasn't Julio; it was Hooper. And Hooper is gone. He went to.
Did he really?
He went to Cleveland. Number 1 paid tight end. So as you're thinking about Atlanta, you look at their defense. They've kind of retooled. They got rid of a lot of defensive players, and they brought in some players. They're against the cap. They overpaid a little bit for some players.
They definitely did. I think it gives us a great opportunity to get 2 wins next year. That's for sure.
I sure hope so.
Well, what do you think about Klevin? What do you think about New Orleans now? I mean, New Orleans, they're always a thorn in our side, brother.
Yes, they are. They still have Drew Brees. They still have, in my opinion, Michael Thomas is one step above Mike Evans. I love Mike Evans, but I think Michael Thomas is the real deal.
Running back.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Don't you?
Kamara.
Alvin Kamara.
Alvin Kamara is the ish.
The funny thing is, Alvin Kamara went to the University of Tennessee. And like I've said before, my blood does have a little orange in it because I went to UT. So I watched every single college game that boy ever played. I never, ever, in my wildest dreams, thought that he would come to the NFL and do what he did. He never showcased like that at the University at UT. He was a solid running back. He was a good pass catcher, but he wasn't that world star that you're just going, wow.
But you know what, Rick? And I'm going to flip-flop back to Brady with a Drew Brees analysis. Drew Brees bring that out of players. And I'm hoping Tom Brady will do the same. So with
Great
Alvin Kamara, Drew Brees brought that out of him. No one knew Alvin Kamara could catch out the backfield and scat 80 yards.
Crazy.
So I'm going to go to something with New Orleans. What do they struggle with more than anything? I can tell you right now.
Stopping people on defense. That's why they got scores of 55 to 72.
Well, defensively now, but their biggest weakness is playing in the playoffs. They always blow it.
They do.
They blow it.
Always.
Not as much as Atlanta does, of course, in the Super Bowl. Just what was the score? 28 to 3?
28 to 3. We'll never forget
28 to 3 for Atlanta fans.
And I even thought, I've a distinct thought when it was 28 to 3 and we were here in this exact house, watching it here. It was 28 to 3 at halftime, and I was going, that mother can bring him back. He could bring him back.
You really thought that?
I really did. I sat there and I went,
I'm going to be honest. I thought it was over.
I said,
I had a little too much Corona. I don't remember at that point. I'm going to say this. We are going to have a playoff atmosphere here in Tampa. So when New Orleans comes here, it's not the Who Dat Nation.
Yeah. We're going to take it back over.
This is our house now.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen the ticket sales, I looked at our section where we sat. And before, it was like half full.
Right.
There's only 2 seats. Actually, our section sold out. 149 sold out. So most of the seats in the lower bowl are gone. So I can tell you right now, if you were thinking about getting season tickets,
you better get
them because I don't think you're going to find cheap tickets anywhere. It's going to be escalated.
This is going to be an exciting season. I can't wait. And if it doesn't get killed by the coronavirus, I think we go 4-0 the first 4 games.
Love it. Great to hear. We will be back in just a minute with more from Crue Life.
Hey everybody, this is Rob from Crue Life. If you are listening for the first time and you're like, what the heck is Crue Life? Where do we find these guys? How do we become part of the crew? Well, it's easy. You log onto your Facebook account, type in the search engine, Crue Life, not C-R-E-W, There is a C-R-U-E, that's crew. And you know what? There is no crew without you. So make sure you get on there, log in for Crue Life, become a member. Say you want to be in the group. We're going to get you into the crew. We're also on Twitter. Look up Crue Life on Twitter. Or if you want to follow this podcast and subscribe, go to youtube.com, type in Crue Life in the search bar, and subscribe today.
Walk by Faith Catering and Hoggy's Barbecue, a sponsor of the Crue Life podcast, started back in 2013. Their passion for cooking can be tasted in every single bite of their food, from Hoggy's slow-cooked pulled pork to the greatest mac and cheese. They truly live by their motto, showing Christ's example of love through food. Contact Hoggy's Barbecue through Crue Life, or you can call them directly at 727-688-2087 to meet all of your catering needs.
Welcome back, Crue Life, to Crewville and the Crew for Life. Listen, I just want to give a shout out to my boy Brian Easy B. Brian has designed, and he's the designer and creator of the Crew for Life t-shirts on Teesprings. If you guys want to check us out, go look at him. Guy's incredible work.
He's done a great job. Want to do a quick contest for you guys. The first 10 people to email Crue Life will get a free sticker sent to them. What we need you to do is to email crewlife2020@gmail.com. That's crewlife2020@gmail.com. The first 10 people to email us your name, address, and a telephone number, way that we can contact you, and we will get you some stickers out. It's a great promotion. Don't let it go to waste, folks.
All right, as we've been going on with Crue Life, we're calling C4L Productions, right? So this is going to be a new thing we're doing on the Crue Life page. We're trying to bring you some new stuff, insightful stuff, and we had an announcement to make, but I'm not going to make the announcement. I'm going to let Coach Bell make the announcement.
What's up, Buck fans? This your boy, Coach Bell, from the Buck Talk with Coach Bell show. Listen, I have a special announcement to make. I will be joining up with the crew. That's right, Buck Talk with Coach Bell and Crue Life. We go together like TB12 and TB. Brace yourself. Oh yeah, and one more thing. As always, Buck Nation, stand up.
All right, guys, as you're out there, we wanted to hear from you. So we have some great calls today. So we have another message from somebody you might know. He lives in Port Richey. His name is Lou. Lou from Port Richey. You better turn your radios down and your speakers down because he's known to blow those speakers.
How are you liking the Tom Brady signing? I'm ecstatic. I don't know what to say. It's just, I mean, we're going to dominate the NFC South. The league is unnoticed. We're coming, baby. I can't believe it. I really can't believe it, man. And don't get me wrong. I love Jameis, man. I love Jameis. I feel bad for him, but he's going to do well wherever he goes. I'll support him. But at the end of the day, I'm a Bucs fan. And I got to go with 12. I got to go. And it's going to be outrageous, man. It's going to be outrageous. I look forward to the signings, the free agent signings that we're going to be bringing in, and the new tackle that they just bought in from Indy. Dude, he looks sharp, man. And if we can get Peters, oh man, that line will shore up big time. Woo! I can't believe it, man. Crue Life, baby. Crue Life. Let's go!
All right. Now we've got somebody else calling in and making a message from Atlanta. That's Superfan Blakey. Superfan, what you got to say?
What's up, guys and gals? This is Superfan John, and just wanted to thank the Crue Life for everything that they're doing, and you guys are awesome. Rob Thompson, you're the man. How about it, Buck Nation, getting Tom Brady, the GOAT? Man, it's a good day to be a Buccaneer fan. Not that it isn't always, but you know what? Everybody's excited. Everybody's pumped. We got something to look forward to, guys. Go Bucs!
As we're out there listening to all these guys, man, it's a pleasure and an honor to hear from all our friends that we've made from tailgating, from traveling, and we've got one more. This last person, you guys might have seen at the stadium. Do you think they've seen him before?
I think so.
What do you think?
Absolutely.
He's known to be in section 121, front row. Or if you've been to a tailgate party on Ohio Avenue, you might have seen this guy. So I'm going to go ahead and play him and let him introduce himself, because everybody knows this guy.
What up, Tampa Bay? It's your boy Bucs Addict representing What the Buck here with Crue Life today on the Crue Life podcast. Big shout out to Rob, Klevin, Rick, and Kirk for putting on a good show, bringing us some new insight and a fresh new podcast for all things Buccaneer football. All right, let's get this out of the way. We got the GOAT, Tampa Bay. There's a big buzz surrounding the community, surrounding the whole city. Everyone's excited. The football team's excited. All the fans are excited. So we all can't wait to see what Tampa Bay does with this man and how TB12 comes in with this explosive offense that we have and hopefully brings us to the promised land. You know, we got a strong team, Tampa Bay. We re-signed our sack master. We re-signed JPP. The front line on the D is strong. Secondary strong. That linebacking core is crazy. You know, so we got a lot of good things going, a lot of good things to build on. Running game, we could use a little help in the running game, but hey, let's hope Ronald Jones steps up and maybe they bring in a piece or two to go ahead and help him out. So we'll see how that plays out. But for me, I'm excited and can't wait to see what happens this upcoming season. I'd like to thank these guys over here at Crue Life for putting on this podcast and for getting us all involved. They're going to be bringing the fans in to speak on some matters Buccaneers and hear from a different perspective. And it's going to be exciting to see what happens with this. Best of luck to you fellas, and best of luck to Tampa Bay on their upcoming season. You guys already know where we're going to be during the football season. 3316 West Ohio Avenue at the Buck Tailgate, the only Hall of Fame tailgate in Tampa Bay. Everyone is welcome. Family, friends, opposing teammates, we don't mind. It's all for a good cause and all for charity. So come one and come all, and let's enjoy some football, Tampa Bay. Go Bucs!
All right, as Buck Attic was saying, he's got a hell of a party. I could tell you that over there with What the Buck. What a crew, what a party. A lot of great things that's going on throughout there. We have a new segment we're going to do on every single podcast. As you can see, we've had people send in some great stuff.
Hey, any questions that you might have of the upcoming season, of us, of what we're doing here at the podcast, if you've got questions, concerns, you've got a great point. You don't think anybody's made the point and you got it, send it. We want to hear it. So here at Crue Life, we're here for everybody. We want to hear everybody's opinion. We want to hear what's coming out from all angles, just so that we've got this covered from A to Z, baby.
For the fans, to the fans, by the fans. That's the motto of this segment, and everybody's got a voice. It's not just us. It's the Three Stooges here. It's actually everyone has a chance to talk. And that's what we want to do. Please keep your recordings you send for 1 minute or less. 1 minute or less. That way we could get as many callers on as possible. Again, tell your friends, your family, where to find us. Right now, the only place we're heard is you can find us on our Facebook page, but you also could go over to YouTube, youtube.com, and then look up Crue Life and subscribe. Please subscribe. The more subscribers we got, the more people that will come and sponsor us. When I say sponsor and I say us, I mean us as a crew, not just the three of us, because we're not making money. This right now is everything that people are sponsoring goes right to the crew.
What's awesome here is that, with Crue Life, what we're going to be doing is bringing people in that a lot of you haven't heard. We're bringing guys from Denver. We're bringing guys from Atlanta. We're going to hear from Boogeyman, I guarantee it. There's going to be a lot of content that's coming here from multiple sources, not just one organization. That's what's going to make this special.
Hey, I want to say something. It's going off a little different. We're going off this for a second. You're going to help me out, Klevin. Do you know as we get older as guys, there's always something you tell people, right? When they say, "How old are you?" How old are you? You always say, you're 5 to 10 years older than you really are. Because, if you say that, then they go, hey, Rob, how old are you? And I say, well, I'm 55. And they're like, man, you look great for 55, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So I would like to wish a happy birthday, because this will be posting a little bit after this. Tomorrow is the chairman's birthday. He is 65. 65 years old.
I'm old. Old as dirt.
65.
But he don't look a day over 20.
I don't know, about 20. But
my lungs wouldn't say that.
So we want to wish a very big happy birthday to the chairman of Crue Life.
Absolutely. Happy birthday, Chairman.
I will be sitting at home eating my birthday cake with no one.
Hey.
Quarantine, baby.
We got to quarantine. And you guys stay safe out there. We're still under this quarantine, social distance. It's all for a good reason. Don't think, I know I've been bored. I've been asking people to do something, but we need to help this cause. We need to help the situation. We all need to do our part.
All right, folks. We will talk to you guys here in another podcast coming up very, very shortly. All we got to leave you with is one thing and one thing only.
Crue 4.